East Florida Explorer here, and welcome to the channel and happy Cemetery Sunday. Today I'm in Bunnell, Florida, right in front of the Flagler County Courthouse, and this is a mystery Cemetery Sunday. I'm gonna try to find a cemetery which I know doesn't exist anymore, which is a mystery. Where did it go? What happened? Did they move it? And right here, there's not much evidence or proof or anything about this place. And this is probably impossible to see on my phone through the camera. But it says the Bunnell Cemetery. And I'll put this little picture up in the video. The Bunnell Cemetery. According to the Graves Restoration Project of 1940 to 1941, this was a cemetery for the black community with no burials of veterans reported. And the directions is why I started here to the cemetery from the old Flagler County Courthouse in the city of Bunnell. Go east on Moody Boulevard, which is right here, for 4 blocks. Then you turn left, which is north on Batcher Street, and go 5/10 of a mile to the cemetery, which is on the right. The cemetery is no longer in being, although the compiler recalls a cemetery being in the general area when he was attending elementary school in 1946. According to the story, in 1978, in the Flagler Tribune, written by Carl Laundrie, the area of the cemetery was at one time owned by I.I. Moody. Laundrie interviewed Alice Hunter, a longtime resident of Bunnell's black community, who said Moody set aside an area for a black cemetery. Hunter was brought to Bunnell with the Moody family from Dublin, Georgia, when she was 5 years old. Hunter's mother was buried in the cemetery along with several of her relatives. Sam Williams Jr., whose father, Sam Williams, was buried in the cemetery, estimated that 50 to 100 people were buried in that cemetery. The cemetery eventually became the property of Lewis Wadsworth III, whose last said burial was in the 1950s when Sam Dozier asked permission to bury his son. Wadsworth in the early 1950s gave the Espanola Masonic Lodge a cemetery for the black community off of Old Kings Road North. A little bit from here, not too far. Oh, emergency, danger, trouble. Nope, trouble. A policeman pulled somebody over here. Look at that action, Cemetery Sunday action. But anyways, and in 1960, Wadsworth sold the area that is now Colony Park, including the old cemetery, to Dewey Moody and Tom Holden, who subdivided the area into what is presently known as Colony Park. So that's really strange. And that's the mystery here for Mystery Cemetery Sunday, is this cemetery was not really moved, I don't believe, because where'd the graves go? I'm going to show another cemetery that they said they started for the black community of the Espanola Masonic Lodge on Old Kings Road next, which I would think they would move this cemetery there. But as from what I've learned and researched, it seems like they just covered the cemetery over and built homes on it. And we'll drive down there right now to this area where there's homes 4 blocks away, Batcher Street. It's really fascinating and strange too, why you would ever do that if there's a cemetery. Never build on that. I'm gonna hop in the car, go for a little ride. just came to a spot where the road kind of dead ends. So I'll have to go around where it meets up again. To make it to that 5/10 of a mile. And since the street dead ended, I had to go 1 block over on Chapel to get into Colony Park, which is, that's strange also. But to make it to the 5/10 of a mile, which I looked on Google Earth, it would bring you right over here into this area, which this first street is called Holden Avenue for Tom Holden that created the development here. And now we're about to get back onto Bratcher Street, and this is where the cemetery would be. That's stating. And the Flagler County Families.com, it said website. Right in this area. Okay, so that was Colony Park, and pretty strange that there's houses built where the cemetery said it was back in the 40s and had like 50 to 100 graves. So that's crazy that there's actually houses there. I wouldn't want to live there for sure. Now I'm going to take you guys to the cemetery that they said they moved it to on Old Kings Road. So now I've made it to the Masonic Cemetery along Old Kings Road, which is behind me, the oldest road into Flagler. And really, this dirt road, I believe, is the Old Kings Road because there's a historic sign up there. But I just rode through the cemetery. There's some families visiting loved ones right now, so I'm not going to go in the cemetery and video while they're there, but I'll let you know exactly. Here's another clip. Probably can't see it that great on my phone for some reason. You can't see into it, but these are from the Flagler County Families, like a website. But it's saying the Masonic Cemetery, located on the east side of Old Kings Road. And according to Flagler County records, the land for the cemetery, just the palmettos. Making sure it wasn't an animal or something behind me. Those palmettos are going crazy. But yeah, the cemetery was purchased by the Espanola Lodge for $1 from Louis Wadsworth II. So they're all connected, like the Wadsworth, and he owned the land in Bunnell, where the Bunnell Cemetery was too. And yeah, I'll put this up there like as another kind of picture, so anybody that wants to read it, you know, can. But it's kind of weird what it's saying, you know. None of the burials from the Bunnell Cemetery were moved here. I was looking at all the names and the dates, and none of them were moved here. So let's see, it was saying in here the earliest burial found in this cemetery is from 1944 of Versi Lee Mitchell, and he was a soldier from Bunnell. Anyways, just a real mysterious Cemetery Sunday. It's always been a mystery to me ever since I read about the Bunnell Cemetery, and I lived in Bunnell for a long time. I went to elementary school there, so to me that was really weird that they moved like an old cemetery. It was like the first cemetery over there, and they moved it out of town and built homes called Colony Park. So if you live in Colony Park, you know, look for that history, because that's kind of like creepy, you know. But anyways, just ending the video here at the Masonic Cemetery, which is where they would change the Bunnell Cemetery here in Flagler County to this location as really the only African-American cemetery over here. So it's a big mystery to me. I wish I'd known more about it. What happened? What did they do? Did they actually just bulldoze over Bunnell Cemetery and build homes? Or did they really move them somewhere? That's crazy. Thanks for joining me, Cemetery Sunday, and I'll see you guys next time.